political earthquake in Nigeria. Just want us to take a look at this. A sitting governor suspended with his deputy and his lawmakers. A military administrator in charge of a state like Rivers State. And a legal battle brewing in Rivers State today. It's a very, very serious issue. How did we get here? Today we want to talk about the crisis in Rivers State and its attendant results, as the case may be. And here today I have a very refined political analyst, somebody who is always straight with his opinions, not biased at all. And he is here on Face to Face TV today to talk about the Rivers State crisis. It's no other person than Daniel Okamata. Daniel, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Steve.
Of course, I am your regular host, Mazu Steve. We are here live on Face to Face TV. Please pay attention as we discuss Rivers State crisis today. Dan, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Please, how do you see what is happening in Rivers State?
Well, I think I'm seeing it just the way every Nigerian is seeing it, especially those who are not aligned with any political party. Because whatever happens in Rivers State applies to everybody.
Of course, it will be a reference point.
Yes. Not just that reference point aspect. The fact that Rivers State is like a center.
Okay.
That so many things revolves around them.
Yeah.
And so
economically
and otherwise, whatever you do to that state affects the nation.
You're right.
So for some persons, they think the president has faltered and was too hasty to make his decision. To some other persons, it was the right decision, so as not to have
the governor impeached.
So as not to have more and more crises that will cripple our already dying economy.
Yeah.
And so the president had to be swift, so that he doesn't allow things to degenerate before he acts. If not that he wanted to be quick to act before things degenerate, he would have asked. Is one explosion in a state like Rivers State enough to actually
declare state of emergency?
That's a very serious question.
Of course.
And I think probably the president himself might be the only person who can give an answer to this question, because Nigerians are actually and eagerly seeking answers to some of these questions, knowing fully well that after the declaration of the state of emergency, the governor has been suspended. The governor with the deputy governor. Meanwhile, when we were young, we used to talk about actor in a movie. The person who is referred to as the actor in this particular movie in Rivers State has remained untouched. So it means that vast majority of Nigerians today, you can sample your opinion, be it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as at this morning, 90% of Nigerians believes that Mr. President has taken a decision that is also one-sided.
Yes.
Because if you want to actually take a decision, you should have balance, being the fact that he's acting like a mediator here now.
Yeah.
But this is a mediator who is not impartial, but has shown the highest level of partiality in his decision making. Because one, all of us, if not many people believe that if Mr. President had said, in fact, there is a similar crisis in Lagos State, his own home state, where the director of DSS has declared a large cat of arms that was stored by the impeached and reinstated Speaker of Lagos State Assembly. So he called them. As at today, that Speaker, whose office was filled with cat of arms, has been reinstated as a Speaker, and we're not even hearing anything about trial or whatever, or even investigation to the fact that his office had that amount of hardwares of ammunition.
Yes.
Nobody has talked about it, but he's registered. So for this area where a political solution was also needed, the president decided to go, go to a children's fight with a bazooka. No, so he hit, and that was loud. And as of today, all of us are thinking, where did this crisis started? When did this start? How? And as of today, both the governor, the governor who has been stepped aside now,
Yeah.
and the minister, none of them have been able to tell us what
really happened.
Nobody has been able to say that.
I've asked this question over and over. And in fact, the issue is this: most of the times, even when Governor Fubara will, address this issue, he will not say anything. If you meet the minister, he will not say anything. He will say that no, I have no problem.
The only thing the minister has said is my structure.
Yeah, yes.
So,
Been hammering on
and
the
Nigerians has been asking, what structure are you talking about? And then people are asking this question because in the past, because he was a governor just barely 2 years ago.
Yes.
And before he left office, he has a plethora of interviews where he has been asked, are you going to fight your successor in case?
I have some clips where he said, I must support him till the end.
No, not even that. Where he had said that he was not elected to actually go protect his interests, but he was elected to protect the interests of Rivers people. And so he is not answerable to him, but only answerable to Rivers people. How did that person now assume office? And you're now making him answerable to you and no longer to Rivers people. The reason why we're saying the president is a little bit of bias or do I say too fast to make this decision is because we would have thought that if he had called his minister and say, look, tone down in this Rivers State matter. Let us find a solution to this. That would have happened. In fact, the governor himself shot himself on the leg. The first day he went to negotiate in that Asoro, what was written on a piece of paper that was signed is beyond any democratic tenet.
And he agreed, subscribed to it.
Either you subscribe by your own volition or by force, we wouldn't know. But then reading the document itself, it shows nothing. There was nothing in that document to show that even the president is not biased from the get-go.
Yeah.
That document was
that document
was like a place that you went to go and sign your own death warrant. That was what the president put together for the governor to sign. And then even when the Supreme Court has given a judgment, the House have also decided not to comply. And then I'm asking, has the president talk to the House of Assembly members and say, go and receive your budget and get this state working? And the House of Assembly members say no. Has the governor tried to give the State House of Assembly their budget and they refuse, or he has refused to present the budget?
You know all this smoke coming from a particular source. Are you getting me? The whole smoke is coming from a particular source. So nobody is even looking at that angle. The governor was just like someone whom they were just searching everywhere to find a fault to pin him down.
And do you see that the governor now, who apparently tried all his best to make sure he was not seen as somebody who was violent, at the end of the day, he still could not achieve that his aim. Why? There are some section of the people who thinks that the governor is a weakling.
Yeah.
Because he refused to act like he was the governor. Because in all of his statements,
he chose not to use his powers
as the governor. And this is a problem for the society. This is a problem for Nigeria. You know why? Because Nigerians have decided that we'll raise everybody to become dictators. Nigeria needs somebody who is acting not beyond his powers is seen as a weakling. Meanwhile, the man who acts beyond his powers is seen as somebody who is a strong leader.
Yeah.
You know, everybody as at today, even at this morning, behind the scene here, when we're discussing, anybody who wants to, in fact, if you enter the public transport now, you want to talk about a president who was a weakling, everybody will name Jonathan.
Of course.
And that's the person who didn't want destruction,
Yeah.
who didn't want chaos,
Yeah.
somebody who just wanted the best for the people.
Yes.
But then, the people,
And so far, to me, in my own assessment, one of the best presidents has ruled.
of course, and then now, what is he remembered? What did the people call him? They call him weak president. So it means that Nigerians do not want a working society. What they want are people who are beyond the institutions. And then we are ending up every day bringing up people who are trying so hard to be above all the institutions of the nation, that the laws, they are all above the laws. You know, I hear former Governor Wike talking about the fact that the state governor is not obeying court orders or judgments. In 2015, before Amechi left office, he conducted a local government election in Rivers State, and that brought duly elected local government chairman. By the time Wike took over,
few months he says it. I
by the time
remember vividly.
Wike took over
Yeah.
as the governor of Rivers State, he
Removed.
unilaterally removed this man. When he removed this man, they went to industrial court.
Yeah.
It was industrial court that they went, and the court gave judgment. And I tell you, from 2015 till this, in fact, you know that Court of Appeal, who they went back to now reinterpret the judgment of that industrial court. Do you know that it is in 2025 that judgment is coming, just as this present judgment is coming? So for 8 years, when K ruled, conducted his election, selected
just 10 years ago.
Just 10 years ago. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm getting
so
you.
it took them 10 years to arrive at this. But in this situation, we saw people who swiftly gave a judgment, even by mere words of the lawyers. Judgments were written, and the ones which were not even part of the original summons were there. And then today, Nigerians are here constitutionally, just like every other person has been speaking. Is the president? Okay, they said the president, according to the constitution, in that section 305 that the president relied on to declare his state of emergency, you need to call for a kind of Congress. That will be a joint session between the House of Representatives and the Senate. So did they call for this?
Did that happen?
Did that happen? I saw in news headline this morning where the spokesman of House of Representatives has said that the president consulted the House.
How? Where? When?
So where did you consult them?
When?
How? Did the constitution say the president will have to consult
or
that there has to be a sitting where
Congress,
both houses will have to agree, and two-thirds majority of that house will vote it before the president can even? Or did the president issue a statement declaring the state of emergency before taking it back to the house to now deliberate on it? Because I bet you that as you speak now, the military has taken over that the Rivers State government house. And so if
I saw a clip where Fubara is being chased out of the government house.
Yes. Now, if that is the case, let's assume that we do not have a rubber stamped house in the Senate. No, the House now, in the Senate and House of Reps. If the House now finally sits, and then the vote comes, and then the suggestion will be the constitution of the president for this state of emergency do not pass what the House have said. Will the president now make another broadcast cancelling the state of emergency has declared, or the state of emergency?
But do you think Fubara and all those affected might approach the courts, to take a look at this?
I think they have the right to approach the courts. But today in Nigeria, you know that when somebody is dealing with you, especially a higher power, and is asking you to go go to court. If you don't accept that, you know what it entails.
Of course, yeah.
So we've created a situation. In fact, we've created a trend in the nation where everybody do not seem. In fact, if you are not in that category of the kaba per se,
yes,
it is assumed that going to court,
you just
in fact,
your resources for your
if
time.
Fubara goes to court today, I think he will be having a 10% chance of surviving through the courts, because what we have in Nigeria is not the court that can just on its own decide to give you that judgment.
That fair judgment.
That's we have a court that are more or less not biased, if we say, but controlled by the whims and caprices of those in higher authority. So if somebody who is higher than you is fighting you, in fact, just like I said,
your name is sorry.
Your name is sorry, because you are going to be dealt with, and there is nothing you are going to do about it. You know why? Even when you are seeing things that are clear, and you go to Nigerian court, they tell you to go to court. The bureaucratic bottlenecks
processes, yeah,
that happens will even weigh you down. That even when you know that you are on the right track.
Just look at the industrial court and the former chairman. You understand.
So you're giving them judgment. 10 years after. Now, do you want them to go back to go possess their seats now, or you're giving them the judgment to do what is happening?
We seat again. Who create the seat for them?
So you see that we must get serious. The major problem Nigeria have as of today is the fact, this idea of having humans who are above the institutions of the nation. We cannot keep creating humans who are above the institutions and expect the nation to work.
That's why we are where we are. All right, please, my people, the purpose of this podcast is to make sure that we promote what needs to be done, promote good governance, we address certain issues without bias. So that is what we've been doing here. And in this case, Mr. Kamata, I want to ask you, what do you think is going to be the effect of all this? We are now talking about setting a bad precedent. From all that has happened, we have addressed the side of Mr. President, side of the Minister of FCT, and side of the governor, and also faulted where personally, in our opinions, where they did not get it right. So now I'm talking about the president that has been set. So what do you think is going to be its effect going forward? Not only for Rivers people, but Nigerians as a whole.
Mr. President, just before we get to that, while we are discussing the minister, the president, and the governor, that is a particular aspect, because we are doing this thing as unbiased umpires.
Of course.
Now, just before the 2023 elections that brought Fubara, there were so many persons. These issues needs to be addressed from the taproot. There were so many persons who wanted to contest for primaries.
Yeah.
And the then governor, now the minister, happened to the other guys.
Yeah.
Lapon them, suppress them, and make sure they did not even participate in that primaries. What they did,
gave power to whom
he wanted. Now, this is where the problem started. Now, according to the minister last week, he said, even a day to the primaries, this governor said he didn't want. This governor clearly said he didn't want to be governor. But you wanted somebody who you think you could control. And so you brought somebody who was not ready for governance.
Okay.
You brought somebody who was not ready to even lead the people. Now, of all the other people who were supposed to contest for that primaries, you subdued all of them and then made this person
governor
a candidate. Now, what I'm saying in essence is this. The implication of what has happened there is what we are seeing today. Because one, Fubara is being seen to those who are loyal to the minister as an ingrate. Somebody who in just 6 months decided to fall out with his boss. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I believe that the minister, when he was making the decision of selecting, instead of allowing the people to decide, when he was selecting somebody who he believed was not going to give him problems. And this is the problem we are facing today, because
the same problem you're running from, you're not getting it.
You're not getting it in front of you. And now the governor, was it right for the governor to leave the man who single-handedly made him governor?
That's another very serious point of discussion. Let me come in here. One, there is always a bond between a master and his follower. Let me just say it like that way. And that bond is agreement and covenant. Are you getting me? It's an agreement, it's a covenant. So each time if I'm entering into agreement with you and I'm taking that bond with you, that this is what we are going to do together, both of us, either in our closet or in the open, I am bound to keep to that agreement. Instead, it's better I decide in my own person, supposed to know. If I'm not ready to do it, no matter how rosy, no matter how mouth-watering it may seem, I'll tell you, please, I am not in for this. Number one. Number two, there is this law, one of the laws in 8 laws of power, that never you outshine your master. When great philosophers are dishing out these things for you, there are certain things and so many incidences that they've seen, to arrive at these philosophical sayings and all that. So I don't think, because while we are saying these things, we are not, siding anybody. We are just calling out spared by his name, where the Governor Fubara went wrong, where the minister we think he went wrong, and where Mr. President we also, in our opinion, think he went wrong. So,
but from what you've said now, whatever be the discussion you have with somebody who's going to lead a people, the only thing binding on that person is not whatever you discuss behind the scene. What is binding on him is that oath of office that he took, and the oath of office that Fubara took was not to represent the interest of Wiki. It was to represent the interest of Rivers people. So,
but he knew ahead of time. Let me say this. He knew ahead of time there was going to be an oath he would take. He also knew the content of that oath. Are you getting me? He also knew that probably so many people have taken that oath and did not keep to that oath, as the case may be. It's obvious. I'm saying from onset, just like you said, a day before the primaries, he said, I don't want to be. Then whatsoever thing that has made him to, agree to be, would have also made him to, stay, in line with whatever thing he has.
What a particular set believes is that the reason why we are even here today is because the governor was acting like he was not a strong person. Because if he was a strong person, probably from the get-go when this issue started, from the first day when there was a walkout between Sim and Wiki, the governor has kept saying he just wanted peace. You understand me? And others are saying if he knew he didn't want to walk out, that he should have just remained there.
Of course.
Rather than walking out and doing nothing to sustain
his walkout.
Because from all his actions, he has been acting like somebody who just wanted to make peace with his organ and not actually,
And you know that peace couldn't have come if the problem is not addressed at the time. See, just like when we started, what the minister kept on lamenting is my structure. And I think, some certain things must have agreed upon, you understand? So there is no peace if we are dragging this phone and I told you this thing is my own, and at the end of the day you are still holding it and you are still asking me that we make peace. That peace will never come. And peace can only come when, okay, there are certain things we've done wrong, let us write them, then start from a clean sheet. But if some of those things, probably agreement, as I'm just speaking my mind, we are mad and you are not keeping to them and you are not ready to keep to them and you are looking for peace, peace will never come now. Peace will not come.
And then to worsen the situation, when you see that the peace is not coming, you're still doing almost, if not nothing,
Exactly what I'm saying.
to even fight whatever that is fighting you.
That's my challenge. That's
because
my
I told somebody yesterday on the sideline. I said, from the moment the crisis began, if the powers that be had perceived the governor as somebody who is hard, there were certain things that would have been dropped.
Yeah.
But when the powers that be perceive that the man is literally not even strong, so anything can come and nothing will happen. And this is what has led to, because I remember when Nyesom Wike was governor, he will attack even the opposition. He will still be the one in national TV accusing the opposition of trying to cause commotion in the state. So while Arise people are leaving, journalists are coming. What these people are doing now, these people are coming. So he was always on the news accusing, even when he was the one memeing.
Yeah, it's true.
He was the one doing the accusation. But now this person comes and he just thinks that people of Rivers State, peace will come. And then people are asking, what are you actually
to bring to attack this peace?
Because you've also seen that the person who you are fighting with is not somebody that is just talking. He's somebody that is talking and doing. You only just think that you can, just by your mere word say, "Oga, you don't do no one fight," and the person will stop. There are people who are not built like that. And we have all seen that the person of the FCC minister is not built in that pattern of you just telling him he's okay and he's okay. No, he wants to go all out. And then I think whatever the FCC minister saw before he made them, he chose and decided it was going to be same, has actually paid off for him. Because I think if you are the other guys who actually were kind of ready for Rivers,
ready for power,
were the ones who emerged. I believe that some of the things he's actually doing to this one wouldn't have happened. Because this one has been acting like somebody who, there's somebody who as in, what am I even fighting for? So he was just looking for peace here, and even when the peace is not coming. So meanwhile, somebody cannot be coming to fight you with AK-47, and you're going to look for a stick.
Catapult.
You're looking for a stick. Like, it doesn't work that way. So, but then,
and someone who is ready to even leave power today. Are you getting me?
Yes.
See,
now,
when you put someone who is not hungry for power on seat, they can let go. Anything can happen. That's what I've seen. So let us just talk about what do you think is going to be the aftermath of all this? Me, I'm just seeing it as a starting here now. The crisis is still brewing. Is going to continue. So what do you think will be the aftermath of all this action that Mr. President has taken?
Well, I think that before the president came to this small fight with this sledgehammer, he must have had his calculations. We cannot preempt him. We cannot say, but like everybody is saying, whatever the president is doing, whichever angle he's coming from, he should try and see that normalcy return to Rivers State. The issue of state of emergency handling the state over to the military is not good for Rivers people. Rivers people came out in 2023, did their voting, and they have a democratically elected governor. And so Rivers people are not happy with the governor, that he has stepped aside their elected governor and brought somebody from.
No, they're not happy with the president.
Yes, the people are not happy. And I know the president, whether he's listening or he's not listening, whether the people are telling him or they're not telling him, should know that the people of Rivers State do not want to deal with the military on the street. We are going backwards instead of moving forward. And that is not, in fact, that is not what the nation needs. We need to, what we need is to move ahead. While we're moving ahead, we are also, making sure that the democratic tenets are being followed. A situation whereby whatever solution that the president wants to give, in less than no time, the Rivers people should have their elected members overseeing the affairs. if the president, just like he said, wants a lasting peace, he must.
I am foreseeing a high-handedness from the military administrator. You understand? You know, and that is how Rivers people are being followed. They don't need, you know, these resources are in their communities. There are certain things you cannot take away from them. I don't know if you agree with what I'm saying. These resources are in their communities. There are certain things. So if anybody comes to handle them, you know, with high hand like that, I don't know how it's going to. I don't know what.
That's why I'm saying that the president must be circumvent his decision making going forward, knowing fully well that right now the people are tensed, the people are angry. You know, when the people are being forced to what they do not want, what they did not negotiate, what they did not bargain for, that is what you're giving them. So you do not expect to push the people to the wall and expect them not to react. So the president will have to find a way to, you know,
Also make them happy.
And then find a lasting solution. A lasting solution. When reading about Biafran war, they will say no victor, no vanquish. But certainly there was a victor and there was a vanquish. That is the way it is.
Of course.
But then the president must find a way to find a round table where the two persons, as far as I'm concerned, this conflict is between the two persons.
Yeah,
but the president read a script. A script he read, he did as if he didn't know there was another party.
This problem. Yes,
and then concentrated whole on this particular person.
And is acting on it.
And acting on it 100%. So that alone is also getting the people agitated. When the people perceive that you are now biased, it gets the people agitated, and then gets them to also react in a way you might not like.
We are talking about modern democracy.
Yes, that is everything the president has done in this has gone against all the
everything that democracy.
You know one thing. The president before now, I know we're not discussing about the president particularly before now. Before he became the president, he sponsored protest against what is it called, fuel subsidy. But on the day of he assumed office, he was there to talk
about. That was the first statement he made.
So what are you talking about now? By the time Jonathan as a president, that we've had issues of state of emergency on 4 occasions.
Yobe, then that was in 2015 or thereabout.
Yobe,
yeah.
Borno, and what is it called now? What's the third state there now? You know, when Jonathan declared state of emergency, only Borno was having about 17 local government seized and controlled by Boko Haram. Borno local government.
And no governor then was suspended.
No governor was suspended. And it took Jonathan a longer time to now see the situations around before he, you know. So why the reason why everybody thinks the Mr. President was too fast is because you cannot tell me that an explosion happened in the morning and before 4 p.m. you already out to declare state of emergency. Not even in fact, before he declared the state of emergency, the Nigerian police has already reported that those who perpetrated the act has already been arrested.
That means there was action.
So you've taken action, whether the governor or whoever, and the people who even perpetrated the act has been arrested. And then because of the people who has been arrested, they've not even been questioned, so that you can arrive at a particular place and say, okay, it was this who sponsored this attack or not. And then by evening, you're in a state of emergency. That was too fast. In fact, I saw a particular post on Twitter last night, and the person has said, if the president has acted swiftly, the way he acted on this declaration of emergency, to declare state of emergency in the hunger ravaging this nation, maybe we would have been better off today.
Exactly. So the presidency has the right to take swift actions against certain things. And me and you are
talking about. So the nation is going through a lot. Why have you not taken such
diving
action?
Everything, yeah.
Why are you not doing that? So the president will have to give not just the truth of the matter. What has happened in Lagos is not just infuriating people in Port Harcourt alone.
Yeah.
It is nationwide. So the president must find a way to balance his shit and then make sure that everybody comes to terms with his decision, and then find a way to find a solution that will be lasting. A solution that will be lasting. Because, what he said was the ministerial administrator will have to take over for 6 months and see if things will be. You understand?
Yeah.
Because some other persons have said the president can even wake up and say he wants to also extend it to the next 6 months.
That's what I wanted to get. Do you see Fubara, being restated as, the governor?
Well, I think the president would need to follow the constitution. In fact, as far as we are concerned, the issue in Rivers State as of yesterday is not due for what is it called, for state of emergency.
Yeah.
And so the president extended the state of emergency in Rivers State is going to cause is not going to help matters. So what the president will have to do is use the 6 months that he has taken to make sure that whatever be the case is resolved, so that by the end of these 6 months, the people can have their elected people govern them and take decision on their behalf. Because
6 months not be small thing.
6 months
What did they even do it 3 months or less?
Well,
Are you getting me? 6 months.
6 months. 6 months is enough.
And he said this is for now.
For now, that's what I'm telling you.
Which means there may be there may be chances of extension.
He has the options.
Yeah.
Of
either extending it, restating him,
or ending it, and
or even change a different pattern. Who knows?
So nobody knows the area is going to come. Just the only thing that will happen is just that you cannot, even if the governor is at fault now, you cannot also fault him, because even as at today that he's suspended, he still enjoys immunity.
Of course,
he still enjoys immunity till his tenure or his government is terminated. So since there is no, he has not been impeached.
His details, his security, everything is still with him.
As of today, he is still.
The only thing is that he's being relaxed from administrative duties.
Administrative duties. You understand? So until then, we can know if the president. I say, what do I say? In a couple of weeks from now, we will know if the president meant well. We will know if the president was witch hunting. We will know if the president came to
intervene
duly and help restore peace.
Yeah.
We will know if the president came to actually fight somebody's war for him. We will know if the president came to destroy Rivers State the more. We will know if the president came to also safeguard Rivers State.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so very much, our people. We've had it from Daniel Okamata in everything. So let us just know the state of things in Rivers State. And finally, we need to ask ourselves, is this a bold move to restore order or a dangerous president in Nigerian democracy? So that is just the question that will be at the mind of everybody, even our listeners. Drop your opinion, drop it in the comment section. Whatever thing you think is going to be the aftermath of this, crisis today in Rivers State, just you have to be free and address it. Thank you so very much, Okamata, for coming.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad to have you. Thank you.
Face to face, now they read my eyes. We dey talk with the young, the things where they touch you. Face to face, we dey talk with the